Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of the Moss HR Minute. I'm Nicole Moss. I am the co-founder and HR director of Moss Consulting HR Services, where we help solve the people and operational problems that business owners face every day. Today, we are coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm joined by Preslie Deusenbery, who is our Phoenix area HR manager, who works directly with local businesses here in the Valley. And our guest today is John Franklin Wiley, a CEPA certified exit strategist and value acceleration advisor based in Scottsdale, Arizona. John works with privately held businesses and their owners to increase valuation, reduce ownership dependency, and prepare for successful exits.
Yeah.
He identifies the exact issues that buyers will face and flag them before the deal is done. He also brings deep operator experience in the fractional and interim CEO and was a Navy submarine veteran.
Yep.
Wow, thank you very much. So John, here's how this works. It's kind of a fun game. It's
Yeah.
fun for us. It may not.
All right. See, we'll
Pressure's
see if
on.
it's fun or not, right? I'll let you know.
Pressure's on for you.
Let's
It's
go.
definitely fun for me.
All right.
We're gonna ask you 5 direct questions. Some might call them hard hitting. That business owners are facing or struggling with right now that we see in the market.
Okay.
You're going to give us an answer in 1 Moss minute. And then after that 1 minute, we'll dive in deeper where it seems appropriate.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, John. So you say most owners wait too long to get ready to sell.
Yes.
What are the earliest warning sign that an owner is already losing their leverage? Give us your answer in 1 Moss minute.
I would say the quickest way to know is ask yourself this: what percentage of the business runs on your having to be present or involved? Is it 10%, 80%, 90%, 100%? That one question, honest answer will tell you a lot about what your business value is. What is the dollar business value of your business if it were going to transact for sale?
Okay.
It's a huge differentiator. And when companies are started by a founder, 100% of the company runs on me.
Right.
Understandably.
Right.
I've been that guy, right? But to go to value maturity, you've got to not be that person if everything runs through your desk or your mind or your phone.
Love it.
Yeah. So if an owner is like 3 to 5 years out, what should they do in the next 90 days to get ahead of that?
If they're 3 to 5 years, well, the first thing they have to do is do the you are here on the map at the mall thing. Right?
Like the Michigan people, like where you live. I live here.
I live here.
Okay.
What I mean by that is you need to take a measurement get a value range of your business.
Okay.
To know what to do to fix it. It's one thing to be aware. It's another thing to measure where you're at, quantifiably and qualitatively measure. And I'm not talking about just your balance sheet. There's 4 forms of intangible capital that don't show up on your balance sheet that you need to measure. When you measure those four intangible capitals, you can start to address immediately within 90 days and begin to increase the valuation of your company.
Love that. Let's talk for a second. Let's dive a little bit deeper because I think that what most founders come across is being 100% of the business, right?
Yeah.
My incredible partner and husband, Steve, and I talk often. He's like, do you want this to be Nicole Moss Consulting or do you want it to be Moss HR Consulting Services? And that's a really hard question to answer. And I think that for most founders, that's incredibly hard. You have the very tight relationships with your first clients.
Yep.
You build those. There's a lot of trust. And then you find quote unquote success. And then you have more than you can handle. And then you got to decide, you go find incredible people like Preslie to help split that work up, or do you want to hold it? Both are fine. What advice would you give to founders deciding whether or not you want to be a founder and a consultant, or you want to grow a business?
It's a really simple question, and there's no right or wrong. It's about what fits for you. And it's really this: do I want to grow a lifestyle business, or do I want to grow a business that has value acceleration? How you build each one is completely different.
Right.
Not right nor wrong, just different.
Yeah.
And if you want a lifestyle business that lets you elevate your lifestyle as your tastes change, as your children grow.
Sure.
And then the thing with the lifestyle business is you got to be honest about it. I'm not building to scale. I'm only going to be able to build it as far as I can go. It's going to pay me well. And then when I go to sell or exit, there's not going to be much to sell. We're going to shut the thing down and I'm not going to walk away with anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know that's what you're doing before you get in.
Yeah.
That's often not what happens. They build a lifestyle business to find out when they go to market. And here's the shocking stat. 8 out of 10 businesses in the United States that go on market for sale do not transact into a sale.
Interesting.
8 out of 10 currently. And that's because they're lifestyle businesses and nobody taught them how to build a value acceleration business.
Oh, that's huge, right? Because that's a really pivotal point. And
Pivot point.
it changes the game.
I mean, that really leads into kind of my next question of like, if when buyers are seeing businesses that only work when the owner is there, they're going to see risk because it's more of that lifestyle business. So what are the fastest ways to reduce that owner dependency without quote unquote blowing up the entire business?
Oh man, that's an easy question and a hard question because it's when I say it's hard, every business is different. This thumbprint is different than this thumbprint and they're different than yours, right? There's a very uniqueness to each human, we have a lot in common, but we have our own idiosyncrasies.
Mm-hmm.
And so to answer that question is really difficult because every owner brings different gifts or personality or expertise to the table that the company will be very dependent on. And your ability to extract yourself out of that may be a longer timeline than maybe simpler things. So I'm not trying to avoid your question. I'm just trying to say that's a complex question that's highly unique to the owner. And that's what I get to do as a strategist is know the owner's personality as much as I understand what makes the company run.
Yeah.
What does the owner want? I could keep going on this, but I'll stop because we probably have another question because it's supposed to be 1 minute. I got a lot more to say on
You're
this.
doing good. Well, and you hit that one in a minute. You hit that one in a minute. So I love diving deeper into this. And I think that to that point is, there's probably, if you want to scale, let's just say in this conversation, we're wanting to scale. We're not doing this lifestyle business. We're wanting to grow it to scale.
Value increasing business.
Value increasing business that ultimately you want to sell or pass on or what have you.
Yeah.
So again, we're starting with founder most of the time. What is one of the things that you see most owners refuse to give up or like hold on to too long that fills that?
Probably I would say the client relationship, the where they're getting the bread and the butter's coming from.
Yeah.
Right. That legacy client that you first landed, your top line revenue producer, the owner feels very functionally connected and emotionally connected and appreciative of that other owner.
Yep.
There's two owners doing business together.
Yeah.
And it feels very awkward and like you want me to introduce a complete stranger to my close friend who's building his business and I'm dependent on them and he on I or she on me and she on the, you're like, this is this owner, right? Like owner dependency, owner to owner, company to company. And if both of these companies want to scale, they need to introduce a broader team that's going to take on that client and the owner has to step back. These are deep feelings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're humans. We're high feelers.
I have to tell you, for myself and all of our founder listeners, I feel like I'm in therapy right now. This is as the scaling. Well, you're putting into words one of the biggest conversations that we have from a leadership level of our company is I've built these relationships with most of our that they are good friends. We are scaling these businesses together. When you get into these relationships, we're like, this is so fun. Let's go scale this thing together and I'm gonna help you and this is gonna be great. And passing that off has been, you get people like Preslie, and it's so easy to be like, she's better. She's way smarter, way more capable, incredibly. She's going to build but it is deep, deep feelings. So I think that hearing you say that and how you just did is going to help a lot of founders go, oh, I am experiencing that right now. And if I want to scale,
it's okay to let go.
It is.
I can offer a nugget of wisdom on how to, it's not if there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
With that handoff. Yeah. It's when.
Right.
The way to get around that and to alleviate your fear as an owner is go to that other owner, partner, friend that, or the vendor that you're doing business with, whoever it is, and have that honest conversation and to them one-on-one. Hey, listen, I'm about to onboard more help inside the company. And I'm going to, in order for my company to be healthy and grow, I'm going to need to get them more involved in our relationship. And I need your help. When it wobbles, would you let me know? Would you call me personally? Just on a sidebar, just you and me, and give me a heads up early. Can you help me with that? And they're going to say yes.
Yes, of course.
Because the person coming in is going to fumble.
Yeah.
they're not going to get it right. And so you're admitting it up front and you're going straight to the source who's got your back.
Yeah.
And that helps the owner who's taking the risk feel a little better,
Yeah.
right? Because you've done something over here and you're planning that it's going to be rough for a while.
Yeah. Yes, that's great. And I think that's a huge nugget of wisdom, because it is hard, and there's going to be fumbles, and by preempting that, it's kind of like an upfront contract and they know their business owner scaling their business too. They're having the same conversations. Love that. So next question, one last minute.
All right.
You've reviewed a lot of companies
A lot.
from a buyer's side lens.
Yeah.
What are the top 2 cracks that buyer agents consistently find, especially in otherwise profitable businesses?
Yeah. So today I coach businesses on how to get ready. That's because formerly I was the buyer.
Okay.
Right. I'm formerly
okay.
chief of strategy for a private equity firm. My job wasn't to study the numbers. My job in the partnership was find the companies that are wobbling, that we shouldn't buy. The numbers look good, but the culture is crashing.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
I looked at hundreds of companies, right, that look good on paper. But when I show up, I'm like, wait a minute. Right. So the top 2 things that I saw over and over again is poor record keeping on the books. Not because people are cheating. They're just not preparing their bookkeeping and their documentation for the scrutiny of the future buyer's lender. Whoever your buyer is going to be, whether it's in 1 year or 10 years from now, that buyer will have a lender. 99.9% sure they're not paying cash.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So is your record keeping at a standard that a buyer's lender would look in and go, this makes sense?
Got it.
We're not thinking like that. This works for us. And you have to have tribal knowledge on how to interpret the balance sheet.
Right.
This will cause 2 prospective buyers and sellers to agree. But when the lender shows up and goes, we ain't touching this. Well, if the lender won't touch it, now the buyer's got to scramble to find another lender who's going to have the same problem.
Right.
And this is why 8 out of 10 don't transact. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm past a minute. I'm sure.
You're good.
Number 2, the second one is over-dependency. The owner over-dependency. The owner's too involved, which we've already talked about, too involved in the business, in the normal life cycle. Business can't operate. They can't go away for a week on vacation or whatever it is, but the owner's too involved and needs to step back and doesn't know how. Wants to get some of their life back, but they just don't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
Both are big issues.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is easier to fix? Which one's harder? Where should people start?
It's easier to fix the bookkeeping
Yeah.
because it doesn't have feelings. Now your bookkeeper has feelings, your CFO has feelings, and we don't do it that way. And why would you make me change?
Right.
Yeah.
Those are different conversations, but it's easier to change that than it is for an owner to extract themselves from their company. Because listen, here's the truth. It's not wrong. Owners get some personal satisfaction and identity
Yes.
from what they've crafted and built and they've cried over. They've prayed for payroll to come in. They've done all of that. It's an extension of who they are.
Yeah.
And you're asking me to stop being who I am. What? And that's really hard. Sometimes I feel like I'm the hybrid. I'm a business strategist. I feel like sometimes I'm a therapist. And sometimes I'm a pastor, right? Just got to walk him through the spiritual side of life, right? I all roll up into one is what I get the privilege of doing. I love my job. I love my life. It's a lot of fun.
It takes a very special person to do that, because you're so right. I love the words that you're saying. I almost am like looking over at Steve as he's filming this to be like, see, he's saying what I'm feeling. It's just, he says it so much
Steve
better.
did slip me, some peyote out of the way.
Did y'all corroborate for this? But no, it is so true. It becomes your identity. It becomes who you are. You eat it, you breathe it, you sleep it.
As it should be.
It should be. It's you cry, you bleed, you don't. It's just as wonderful as it is awful, and it keeps you up at night. It gets you up in the morning.
It's your baby.
It's
like raising children.
Yeah.
it is. Well, and then you have something that is so important to business owners is you have this incredible team of people who have chosen to trust you in both the business, and you pay them and they do the things, and then you have a great responsibility for them too. And so then that's the added, not only do you have the relationships with your clients, it's also the relationships with the incredible people that you work with. and it is your identity. And so that's an incredibly difficult thing to just be like, I trust you. I know we just met. I just hired you, but you say you can do this, but
Well, as long as we have trust with accountability, we're good to go.
yeah.
And that's where the four intangible capitals come in, right? Because those intangible capital items, right? Part of it's structure, it's human, structural capital, human capital. You've got social capital. You've got, as long as you're addressing those, you're increasing value, you're solving some of those identity problems. It's not easy, but because we're helping them grow the company, they're getting more of their time back.
Yes.
All of a sudden they're going, wait a minute, I've been following your 90-day sprints that we bring to the table. We measure first to identify what's wrong, what's being suppressed, why. Then we start 90-day sprints on how to fix each of those four,
Okay.
right? Then all of a sudden the owner wakes up to me and goes, I'm not going in as often as I used to.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. My company's 25% more profitable and I've got 20% of my time back. Maybe I don't want to sell right now.
Right.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Why would I
point.
sell? I'm
Yeah.
making more money and I'm not putting as much time in. I love when that happens because I'm not a business broker. We're not listing businesses for sale.
Mhm.
I'm teaching companies how to build value that can keep increasing over time to maybe they become best in class at the highest multiplier possible in their vertical.
Yeah.
Maybe, but most importantly, you get your time back.
Yeah. It's interesting. A lot of the business owners that we work with are like, we had one specifically, they had a rough couple of years. They had massive layoffs. They've had to move. They've grown their team. I mean, it's just been a lot of ups and downs. And we've been very, I feel very privileged to have walked that with them. Steve, too, we both very closely walked that journey with them and seen the pain and the joys when it's, it is very cyclical. And then one of the guys was like, man, I wonder what it would cost to just sell this thing. I mean, what we just walk away. He's burnt out. He's so tired. And you're right, to your point, when you can help build the valuation and he gets his time back and they're making more money, why sell it?
Why sell it? I feel differently about my business now.
Help her get the spark back that he had when he started it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it brings back the creativity, the entrepreneurialism, because an entrepreneur is a creative,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You see something, you see a need, you see a service, you see a niche somewhere in society, right? And you see a way to add value to someone else and you get to monetize it at the same time and bring value to you personally.
Right.
Entrepreneurs are amazing people, right? Because they can see all that. But what happens is the grind of running it, slowly it's like death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Yeah.
Slowly your entrepreneurialism and your creativity begins to wane because you just feel like you're getting eaten alive by just maintaining.
Yeah.
And this approach that we take brings back that entrepreneurial spark over time.
That's great. Well, we know like the 4 pillars, there's more than just monetary value that goes into a sale. So from the exit perspective, how can leaders build strength and team stability to impact valuation? And can you give us that answer in your 1 Moss minute?
Woo! So in 1 Moss minute, on the human side, it really comes down to bringing in team members that are smarter than you and you know it. And you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And that you'll let them shine and you'll say to them, and I had to learn this. I've started 4 companies over the course of my life. And when I was in my 40s, I finally figured out how to fix the human problem. I was hiring great people, but every time someone would come to me like a super highway for information, I knew the answer. I was the problem. I'm giving the answer. So I learned to say, I don't know, but I know who does. Come on, I'll walk with you. And we'll go to that office or to that person. Hey, so-and-so's got a question. I knew the answer the whole time.
Yeah.
But I disciplined myself to not be the guy who knows everything, even though I do. Right. So it's changing. Like I realized, I'm getting value from being the guy in the know. And I needed to stop that.
I love that. There's a lot of personal growth that comes with that because when you're the guy or the girl or whoever, like that's your ego and that's an extension of yourself. It's hard. I'm currently struggling with that.
I feel like it's like playing the hokey pokey, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
that's a really good way to put it.
I also felt disingenuous, like I was not being honest.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes, I do. Right? I could hear myself screaming, you do know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the better thing is to walk them to the person that's been empowered with that information.
Yeah.
For the health of the company.
Yeah. Well, and it's I mean, that's really servant leadership, right? Is you're really empowering two people that you have hired and trusted to do their job, and you get out of the way. It's just the ego is a very large situation that
Yeah.
we deal with.
But I had to get value then from seeing them not need me.
Yeah. That's a very powerful statement.
I realized the more I saw that they didn't need me, the better I was at my job.
Yeah.
Is to get out of the way. Let the culture be the culture. I gave birth to this thing so it didn't need me. At least that was the idea, right? And so you just got to find that gives you that which gives you satisfaction.
Yeah.
You need to change the narrative. The owners got to get inside their own psyche.
That's great.
And find value other ways.
Yeah, I love that. What would you consider maybe the simplest proof, so to speak, that a buyer might want to see that the people systems are real, like the systems that have been created and not just a talk?
Yeah. There's a lot of documentation. You walk in and go, well, where's your manual on how to do this? Oh, it's here. The follow-up question is, when was it last updated? Oh, we did it 3 years ago. Yeah, but when was it well, 3 years, you have nothing. So part of the 90-day sprints that we put people into is when it's time to work on structure.
Okay.
The structural side. Structure is about processes and systems. We want to get away from just tribal knowledge. Well, everybody just knows, right?
Right.
So every 90 days or once a year for 90 days, right, you're going to work on documentation focus for 90 days. We're going to get all of our manuals updated, all of our systems and processes, and we're going to find out what have we started that's never been documented that we just started a year ago, or less than a year ago.
Mhm.
You're going to add that. So you have the discipline to spend time on that, and then you're done and you can move on to the next project other than structure for the next 90 days. It's a systematic approach, very disciplined.
No, I love that. And I think too, just it's again, we work with so many business owners. We currently have 39 clients that we work with, right? They're all going to need to exit. So they all need to know you.
10 out of 10.
39 out of 39.
They're going to exit
They're
eventually.
They're going to exit.
Some a year from now, some 10 years from now, but
Yeah.
they're exiting.
And this is, and I love, and if we could just go back for a second because it was so powerful. And I think I could say 9 out of 10 of our clients are feeling this right now. If they could just optimize and get their heads out of the day-to-day business,
Yeah.
they wouldn't want to exit. The guy
Right.
who's like, how do we get out of this?
Yeah.
That is so important. And I think that's so empowering. When you're talking to new business owners, how do you kind of, it's a very delicate conversation that you would be having with them. How do you kind of broach that so that people feel safe?
I love this question. It's really, it goes to kindergarten.
Yeah.
Let's just go to kindergarten for a moment.
Mhm.
Do you remember kindergarten? Like, I remember kindergarten,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I do.
And you go to kindergarten, and one of the first lessons that you learn is, boys and girls, you should always know where the exit is. Anytime you walk into a new room or you always know, boys and girls, where's the exit? And everybody goes, "Ah," right? Yeah, you did it. And we learn in kindergarten, always know where the exit is. Why? Well, because life safety, depends on knowing where the exit is. Let's keep this analogy going. This is how I explain what we do and why it matters. Start with kindergarten. We were taught, always know where the exit's at.
Mhm.
Well, you own a business, you need to know where the exit's at. But let's talk more about what we learned in elementary school. Remember fire drills?
Of course.
Remember fire drills, right? We all do fire drills in school. And gosh, I grew up partly in Arizona in middle school, high school, right? But in elementary, I was in California. We did earthquake drills.
Right.
Duck under your desk. So we did fire drills and earthquake drills in the 40s and 50s. Under your desk. And unfortunately today, we do intruder drills.
Right.
Bottom, what I'm saying here is we do drills. We teach our kids to do drills because life depends on it.
Mhm.
Your well-being, physically, emotionally, depends on doing drills. And that's what we do. That's what Exit Factor does. I can't help anybody unless we run a drill.
Right.
And an assessment that assesses two things: the business's health and the owner's readiness to exit. It's two congruent paths.
Mhm.
So when we come in to run a drill, it doesn't mean you have to exit. And here's what I mean by that. Do fire drills cause fires?
Right. No.
No. They give you a path out if one breaks out. So running a readiness drill in your company, looking at all your systems, as well as the owner's personal readiness, the owner's financial. Does the owner have a wealth gap? Meaning maybe you've got some investments over here, but you need the company to sell in order to get yourself into permanent retirement,
Yep.
right? What's the wealth gap? We measure all that. It's a drill. So having Exit Factor come in, or someone like an Exit Factor come in once a year, just like how often do you run fire drills? Well, hopefully at least once a year,
Right.
right? We come in, we run that drill. And that's how I get owners to understand the value. You're like, oh, that makes sense. What does it hurt? You'll learn so much about where you really are that then we've got something we can work with.
Yeah.
After we measure, run a
Mhm.
drill.
I love that. It makes it so tangible.
Yeah.
And you need that.
It's easy to understand because exiting sounds like so far away. If I
Yeah.
start talking about exiting, it's like almost a curse. Like, don't talk about death. Well,
Right.
10 out of 10 die. Don't talk about exiting your business. 10 out of 10 are going to exit. So if we don't talk about exiting, it's unhealthy, not only for the owner, it's unhealthy for the business. And again, this is why 8 out of 10 don't transact. There's not a culture to receive a new owner.
Mm-hmm.
There's no preparedness for it.
Right.
So let's be big boys and big girls and bring in what we learned in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Know where the door is. It's fascinating when you were in elementary school, if you ever noticed, whenever we ran the drills, there'd be somebody with a clipboard
Mhm.
and a stopwatch.
Yeah.
What were they doing? Measuring. And that's all we do at Exit Factor. We measure. After we measured, then we talk about where do you go from here?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking to someone earlier today, even, and she does probate, but she helps businesses prepare like operational agreements and, are you LLC, S Corp, things like that.
Yeah.
And she said, think about what happens if you don't have some sort of succession planning, whether it be if you're sick or if you die or maybe in a car accident, whatever it is, you still have people that you have to pay. And if there's not a plan, it could be 6 to 9 months before someone can step in. Well, people aren't going to sit around and wait for 6 to 9 months and work for free. And so the business then is essentially dead.
Correct.
And then those people need to get paid and there's legal issues. And so one of your drills, does it look at that?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to look at what happens on owner dependency if the owner were to suddenly be removed or die, right? Is there a life insurance policy? Or is there a policy that will cover key man insurance or key person insurance, right?
Yeah.
Key person insurance so that the payroll can be met, so that the company can go on. We're going to look at all of that and do what I call de-risking. One of the 90-day sprints is de-risking the company. We're going to look at everything that causes the company to be at risk. We may come up with 15 things. Now, in a 90-day sprint, we only allow you to work on 5. If there's 15, 10 are going to have to wait.
Yeah.
Until
They were waiting anyway.
They were waiting anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to make it doable. So when the 90 days is over, everybody goes, yeah, come on. Yeah.
We did it.
Like that. We did it.
Yeah.
We moved a rock. We increased our value potential.
Yep.
Right? Every 90 days, a little more incremental value. You look over your shoulder after 4 years of having us come in and measure and on a 90-day trajectory, you're still running your business. You got to get product or services out the door. That's all still happening, but you're taking a moment to run a measurement once a year, right? Do a drill and then have a plan to address what was uncovered that year. It's really simple.
I love it. It's you get so bogged down in the day to day, make sure I'm stuck in the making sure our clients are good, right? And those relationships and all of that, but you get stuck in the weeds all the time. And to have that kind of elevated look, kind of, what do they say? On the business, not in the business.
Yes, we say it a lot, but what do we actually do about it?
Almost nothing.
Almost.
We talk about it a lot. I do know that's not fair. My business partner and husband, Steve, does the stuff. I wake up and I'm like, I got this email and I got that email. And, it's hard. And I also, like you said earlier, I love what I do. I love human resources. I love working with the people. I love solving the problems. But I'm over it at this point.
Having Exit Factor as a team member
Yeah.
inside your company as a strategist, it forces yourself to elevate to that moment to work on it, not in it, right? Because I'm showing up. We have an appointment.
Right.
right?
Gotta get ready.
Well, you're
Gotta be
breaking
ready.
it down too.
Breaking it down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, how's it going? Where are you at? Like, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to ask you how it's going.
Yeah.
If you're stuck, we're here to strategize with you, not fix it for you.
Yeah.
Right. If you're stuck and you have a particular problem, let's say the company is growing and it needs a CFO, right? And they've never had a CFO. Well, I will bring recommendations, a fractional solution, or even in HR. I have companies that I run into that they're still doing payroll internally. They're not big enough yet to, fully onboard. So they haven't,
Yep.
but they're getting just run over by HR issues.
Yep.
I'm going to come in and say, hey, why don't we bring in a fractional opportunity?
Yeah. Bring in moms.
Let's baby step you in.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll hire a full-time person.
Right.
That's the kind of wisdom that bringing a strategist will at least get the owner thinking.
Yeah. But can we talk about fractional for a second?
Yeah.
Since COVID, fractional's been around for a really long time, right? You think about the MSP, IT companies. It was so expensive. A lot of companies had IT services that they would, manage service, and they come in. We now have fractional HR. That's what we do is fractional HR. There's fractional CEOs, fractional CFOs, fractional COOs. What's your kind of take on how this is all coming?
I think it's brilliant. It allows you to get depth of team members without having to increase your payroll like massively, because experts in an arena will get top dollar because they're valuable. Right. Those experts that bring good strategy, wisdom to the table, that are willing to be fractional, that's gold.
Yeah.
And it helps our economy. Listen, our GDP from 50 million, I'll give you a couple stats. From businesses valued at 50 million and under make up 2/3 of our GDP national.
Whoa, wow.
It's huge.
Yep.
Right. But yet we don't provide them wraparound care and service when it comes to HR because they can't afford it.
Right.
The big boys can.
Yeah.
Right. So this is why I love Exit Factor. We're designed for 50 million and under. If you're 50 million and over, you get wraparound care from the big boys, big banks,
Right.
because we want to see you go IPO. We want all that, and that, which is wonderful. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But what happens to everyday American blue collar, white collar businesses that are 50 million and under? They get fractional help. They can get healthier faster. It's brilliant. I love it.
I love it. That's great. John, thank you so much for joining Preslie and I.
Thanks.
It's just the kind of clarity that business owners need before they're burnt out, or we're just so taxed. Or maybe even if they're already under an LOI and it's already happening, just hearing all of this is so very, very helpful. If you want to learn more about John's work, you can find him at johnfranklinwiley.com.
Yep.
And if you are a Phoenix area-based business owner who needs help stabilizing your team, strengthening your HR systems, and making your business less owner-dependent, visit mossconsulting.com, book time with our team, and we will see you all on the next episode of this Moss HR Minute.
It's fast, it's fun, it's the